Wow. Let's come back to that question I asked you with regards to fuel subsidy. Sleek Oshare, is fuel subsidy back?
Yes, it's back.
So it was never gone?
It was gone.
And then came back
Briefly,
again?
It came back.
How come we never noticed?
Eh?
How come nobody ever noticed? We only started seeing it from the numbers.
That it came back?
That it came back?
Oh, the government said it. When NSC gave the first intention to go on strike. Because the marketers had given a hint they were going for 800 Naira a litre.
900.
After I went to 617, the marketers gave a hint. NSC was going to go on strike, and the government said no, they are negotiating with the marketers.
Well, that was the time you went.
And the marketers kept quiet. What do you think happened?
Oh, wow. Let's begin this conversation taking a quote from Ronald Wilson Reagan, who was an American politician, served as the 40th president of the United States from 1981 to 1989. He once said, government's view of the economy could be summed up in a few short phrases. If it moves, tax it. If it keeps moving, regulate it. And if it stops moving, subsidize it. Oops. Okay, so let's see our next one, and this one is from Felipe Calderon, who served as the 63rd president of Mexico from 1st December 2006 to 30th November 2012, and also the Secretary of Energy. Once said, "We need to remove fossil fuel subsidies right now, or in other words, we need to establish the right economic incentives to move towards all the way sustainable projects in a particular infrastructure that implies putting a price on carbon everywhere." Okay, so now let's see how this quote relates to what we will be discussing today. Very warm greetings and welcome to The Conversation. We're reaching you from Kaftan's television studio here in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Annabel Orji. I'm sure a lot of us saw that report on the national dailies, on some of our national dailies that talks about how the federal government paid 169.4 billion naira as fuel subsidy in August 2023. But then, when most of us saw that headline or that report, the first thing that came to mind was fuel subsidy is gone. So what happened? Is fuel subsidy back? Anyways, that's what we'll be discussing today with my guest, Sleek Oshare, who is an oil and gas expert. And we're supposed to also have BDC, that's Bureau de Change Operator, that's Habib Gajo, but he just called us to let us know that his wife just put to bed, and we appreciate you a lot. Congratulations to you. So that's saying congratulations to our very own guest, Habib Gajo, and his family. All right, so now let's go on this quick break, and when we return, we'll kickstart this conversation on fuel subsidy. Is it back? Was it ever gone? At what point did it come back? My guest will be on the studio. Welcome to this conversation. Welcome back. If you just joined us, this is The Conversation. We are reaching you from Kaftan's television studio here in the nation's capital, Abuja. Now we'll go straight to a conversation for today. My guest is Sleek Oshare, who is an oil and gas expert. It's great to have you on the show today again, sir.
Yeah, good
It has actually been a very long time.
Yeah.
How have you been?
I'll be fine. I'll be fine. I'm always fine.
Is Nigeria treating you well?
No,
Really?
I'm always fine. Because I condition myself for the worst.
Ah, okay. And then
And of course, in this dispensation, I've seen it. I saw it a year or two ahead before it happened, and because I kept on monitoring the statements of the past president, and the utterances were indicating to me that there was going to be a rough period coming.
Oh.
So that, because I saw that he lost control of his men who were in charge of the critical sector of the country.
Are you still referring to the former president?
Yes,
That's
yes,
former president.
former president, and
okay.
he lost control of some of the critical sectors of the country, and I know the payback was going to come much later, especially when he presented his budget for 2023, and he didn't make any provision for oil subsidy. Before then, a year before then, he had said that oil subsidy was going to be difficult to continue with, but he was going to stick to it, which means he was preparing to push the responsibility for his successor. So it was, let it not happen in my time. Let me tidy over it and push it to the next guy. And the successor took it over. And we can see today. So I had already seen it in advance. And so I'm ready. So I got ready. That's why, yeah, it's shaking everybody, but I'm not discouraged.
Okay, so we're going to take a cue from what you just said and where you landed with regards to fuel subsidy. And then you talked about how the present government came out to say fuel subsidy is gone during his inaugural speech. But then, despite all of the numerous assurances given by the president, current president Bola Ahmed Tinubu with regards to fuel subsidy, we recently saw the report saying that Nigeria alleging that the federal government spent 169.4 billion naira as subsidy in August just to keep the pump price at 620 naira. So I'm wondering, if we are still buying fuel at 617 or 620 naira, as the case may be, in different filling stations, and you still you already have the international crude price gone up to as high as $98 per barrel, and you have our naira to the dollar over 1,000, is fuel subsidy still here?
Yes, you see, I'll tell you something, Annabel. If you play back conversations we have had before, and I kept on resisting. I said, I can remember I said one day that we might find petrol price hitting 1,000 naira a liter. And I said so because something was not being controlled. Something that was not being controlled was the currency. The currency was not being controlled. The currency was to be determined by external forces. And then our refineries have gone down for over 20 years. So, and when you're not controlling those things and you have not put any policy in place to check those things, then you should expect a continuous downward trend. I know there was also a time I felt there was an irony, not just in the immediate past government, in previous governments. And I could even way back to before Konjowala and all that. Each time the price of crude oil goes up, price of petrol will go up. Each time the price of the cost of petrol of crude oil drops,
international market
cost of crude oil drops, petrol price will go up. And then every minister of finance will give explanation. Oh, our income has dropped because of the price of crude oil that dropped. You see, our income has dropped, and we need to do something to keep our revenue. And to keep our revenue, we have to increase the price of petrol in order to keep our revenue. But when the price of crude oil goes up, the price of oil goes, you see, we are buying now the petrol at a higher price. So head or tail, we were losing. Head or tail, we are losing. And we have not changed that factor. A lay economist like me, if I have the right to say I'm an economist, because everybody's an economist, I have to say, if you don't control your currency, and all your life is import based, then you lost the economy, you lost your living. You don't control your currency because you are not manufacturing anything.
You're just a consuming nation.
Yeah, you just consume, and you don't consume those not locally produced things, but externally produced things. So you lost control of the pricing. Crude oil, you have crude oil, you sell in dollars, but you don't produce refined products. You don't refine products for domestic use. You still bring refined product at international price. You've lost your economy. You lost your means of livelihood. So the world can turn you over and over. And I have already said that petrol is a social product, it's an economic product, and it's a political product.
Political product. I always recall you say
that.
Exactly.
Whatever happens to petrol affects every other aspect, affects the politics, affects the social standard. And you see it clearly now. So why don't you control the petrol thing? No government has cared to control that. We've had refineries. Kaduna refinery has been moribund for over 20 years. For about 25 years, almost 25 years. Warri refinery, the same thing. Port Harcourt refinery is epileptic and has been done for several years. And this is something that is crucial. This is something that's very crucial to our life. No government have considered this serious enough. Then the currency itself. And I said, like I said somewhere, Nigeria died yesterday. Nigeria died yesterday, right from the period of SAP, structural adjustment, when you threw your currency to the dogs. The moment you threw your currency to the dogs, Nigeria died.
So are you saying that our problem started from when you had
that structural adjustment was a crucial moment in the life of this country.
Oh, but that was in present previous.
When you set the fire today, it burns until tomorrow.
Oh,
the structural adjustment devalued the Naira, and from there, industry started collapsing. Michelin, Dunlop, and so many others. Sanyo, electronics. All started dying off.
So, and then even recently now we have
petrol prices started going up. Structural adjustment, where you now put the Naira in the market. You were not exporting anything beyond crude oil. You were exporting only crude oil, which was being exported in dollar. Yet, you subject your currency to the dollar, to the market. You throw it to the dogs. Well, you buy everything. And of course, we now have a generation that doesn't believe in eating locally produced things. The Indomie generation. You don't get the Abakaliki rice. They don't take it. It was a Thailand rice. It was the Thailand tomatoes puree. It was basmati from India. I understand sometimes they even brought egusi from India, egusi soup from India.
Interesting.
So meanwhile, you have to buy them with the Naira. You're importing everything. Meanwhile, you throw the Naira out. So Nigeria died from 1986 around September when social adjustment was introduced.
But then we've had other economic programs. We've had the Vision 2020. We've had the Shopees and the all other ones that have come, alleviation programs. Haven't they been able to?
Shopee was a fluke, was a political fluke. Subsidy reinvestment program was a political fluke.
Oh, wow.
To buy time. What are you subsidizing? What are you reinvesting? Reinvesting in what? In those General Motor, all those Kabu vehicles you give to a few people? No. These things are more fundamental. They are more fundamental. The village farmer doesn't need your palliative. The village farmer needs good roads, need the market to bring the goods to the market and sell and take things out and buy gari and buy fish and buy tomatoes, buy things for the children to eat. You're able to sell at a good price and buy back one good price. It's not for you to come and drop a bag of rice or do subsidy adjustment where you bring in fact, when you're even doing it, you are doing people who benefit from it for the short term are people who are in the same political affiliation with you. You know, all those palliatives, all those things, they are politically arranged. They benefit, they are not for everybody. I don't think you have benefited from any.
I've not gotten any though.
I haven't benefited. My children haven't benefited. We read them the paper. So those are not the things. The Naira thing that was devalued then, from 65 kobo to the dollar, as of 1985, up to June 1986, it was 65 kobo to the dollar. Then suddenly, for social adjustment, you took it from that $65 for 65 naira to the dollar, you now took it to 3.5, 3 naira 50 kobo to the dollar. The downward journey started. And since then, I never looked back.
But it hasn't gotten this worse. Over 1,000.
That was why, it was, like I said, you lost control of the infrastructure that was to control it. First, you are not producing anything. The people you gave loan to revamp agricultural sector, diverted the money to estate property and took them abroad. No consequences. You didn't challenge them. You didn't punish them. You didn't challenge them. You didn't punish them. You gave them the loan. Let's see the report of CBN coming out. See the report coming out. Did they do agricultural? You didn't build silos? Sometimes when I drive on the road and I see these women, honest, hard-working women, sitting by the roadside, selling the tomatoes, and the night is coming, I could see them hawking a few of them. I just say, wow, they are not going to be able to sell all this today. Tomorrow the same thing. How do they preserve? They threw them away. The mangoes, the corn,
the oranges,
the gari, they threw them away. No silos. This is what goes on. You give rice, they build Abakaliki rice, the good Lake rice. Lake, that's Lagos, Kebbi, joint venture rice. You bring them out, the new generation of parents, they say that children don't eat that. They want Thailand rice. So what happened? So everyone had to rebag their rice with Thailand inscribed label for Abeokuta rice. I mean, why the rice you bring out, you bring milling machines that cannot make the long grains. I like long grains. Everybody like long grains. They cut the rice to people call it wiri rice. These are some of the things that affect. So you lost control of the economy. So you're not producing, you have a capability to produce rice, but you don't, you know you can produce it, but you don't make the facility enough to produce rice, enough for the home, and enough for export. So
is that actually going, sorry I had to body, is that actually a way forward? If every other state governor decides to do the same thing, if you cannot produce, go and buy from somewhere else and then rebuy? Because you recall that in Calabar, you had the former governor who came up with the chocolate factory, where they now make chocolates in there. So, is that anywhere to go at all? How much has that even done?
How much has that even done? Did people continue long enough with it? Were they sold? Were we properly preserved and marketed? We like quick money. We want property. Most of them invest in property. And most of the people who you give the loan to, check all of that. 98% of them have their families outside the country. How do they sustain the family outside the country? With the loans you give to them. So government need to do something. People need to be, there should be consequences for breach of faith, for breach of agreement, for breach of contracts. There must be consequences. And the consequences must be apparent, must be seen by everybody to say as a lesson. When we do that, the currency borrow the change. How are we controlling the borrow? How does the money get to borrow the change?
Unfortunately, we were supposed to have a bureau the change operation,
Yeah.
but his wife does give birth. Anyway, congratulations.
How much money is being pumped into the borrow the change? So what they call the parallel market, they have the main. How much money is pumped into the borrow? How are you controlling the borrow the change? How? How many people are there in the borrow the change? I understand there are about 5,000 borrow the changes in this country. 5,000. I don't think the UK has up to 100.
Are they the problem? I keep hearing people say that they are the most powerful people.
Yeah, they are the most, because they manipulate the Naira and the dollar. And so that manipulation is affecting the cost of imported goods, machinery. So people who want to go into that, and then of course repatriation of profits. Foreign investors are scared that they're not able to repatriate profit. Look at the airlines.
Look at GlaxoSmithKline.
Yes. You pay twice the amount for a ticket for to London than a person from the Republic of Benin pays. Why is it that? So government after government has lost control of the economy and the economic infrastructure. There used to be a time where we have shift workers. You see husband going say, I'm on night shift. Do you see anybody go on night shift anymore? Since 1986, the Naira collapsed. Nigeria died.
Oh, wow. Let's come back to that question I asked you with regards to fuel subsidy. Sleek Oshare, is fuel subsidy back?
Yes, it's back.
So it was never gone?
It was gone.
And then came back again?
It came back.
How come we never noticed?
Eh?
How come nobody ever noticed? We only started seeing it from the numbers.
That it came back?
That it came back?
Oh, the government said it. When NSC gave the first intention to go on strike. Because the marketers had given a hint they were going for 800 Naira a litre.
900.
After I went to 617, the marketers gave a hint. NSC was going to go on strike, and the government said no, they are negotiating with the marketers.
Well, that was the time you went.
And the marketers kept quiet. What do you think happened?
Oh, wow.
Written it out.
Interesting.
Written it out. Because if there's going to be an uproar, an uprising in this country without a leadership, which is chaotic, which is dangerous, the fourth thing. So the government realized that quickly. And that's why the subsidy are coming quietly.
Do you actually think that the trade unionists, did they know about this?
Well, they do. Why I say they do is that, and I also hold them responsible. I spoke with somebody this morning when he said, President Tinubu brought raise petrol prices, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Remove fuel subsidy. I said, you didn't know it was coming. What did you do? Right from the time the petroleum industry bill was introduced to the parliament, we were told that fuel subsidy was going to be stopped. Throughout the debate, that bill was in the parliament for more than 7 years or something like that long, until it became an act. Passed and became an act. It was stated clear, we will not subsidize. The trade unions also participated in the debate. Everybody presented them. You and I saw it. We all had it. What did we do? We did nothing. The trade unions did nothing. They accepted it. 2 years before the expiration of Buhari's management, Buhari kept on talking it. We cannot continue with it. But he said, I will not remove it. He said the movie trial for the successor. He had been unpopular enough. He didn't want to take the nest of popularity. So when he presented his budget, the last budget, he stated it clearly that I have made provision that will last till May 31st. As from June 31st, no provision for subsidy. What did the union do? What did TUC do? What did the NSC do? What did you and I do? We did nothing. We took it from, like the man I spoke with the morning. This morning, the man said, that time it didn't concern him now. I said, okay, you saw the fire coming. It didn't concern you. Now the fire don't burn where you did. It concern you now. He laughed. We didn't do anything. They said, they did 20. The parliament did 20. We didn't attack the parliament. We didn't attack the president. Said, no, it cannot be. It should continue like that until you did this, until you did this, you did this. We did not. So, this guy inherited it, and here we are. Meanwhile, the trade union, for example, have never threatened to go on strike if the Nigerian refineries were not rehabilitated. No. We are guilty. We are all guilty in this matter. We can't point finger at anybody. If we had existed in refineries, 20-something years, refineries had not functioned. They were there. Given to the wrong people to maintain at that time. Failed. Workers be paid salary.
And you have
turnaround
maintenance.
Nothing. We didn't say anything.
But if this present administration have actually promised that it will come on,
they will come
by
on.
the end of this year,
they will come on.
Aren't you optimistic?
Yeah, I'm optimistic because let's say something. I may be wrong, I may be proved wrong, but this is what I do. I remember Richard Nixon said, there's a quotation Richard Nixon made in 1970 something when he said, the finest steel has to go through the hottest fire. When a woman wants to put to bed, it goes through labor. We are going to put to bed. We are going through labor now. That is my consolation. We are going to put to bed. Nigeria is going to put to bed. We are going through labor now. Because the darkest hour of the day, the darkest hour of the night is nearest the dawn of the day.
Most definitely. All right, we actually do for a break, but before we go on that break, now I hear you say that fuel subsidy was not budgeted for during the last administration, even from the
was
PIA.
not budgeted from June 1st.
From June 1st.
June 1st.
We're already in October.
Yeah.
So if it was not budgeted for, isn't it a criminal offense to keep paying for that subsidy? And should the heads be rolling at this point? Because where's the money coming from then?
Where does the money come from? We prefer more increased prices of fuel to the criminality. Whatever you think is criminality, by pushing money.
So are you saying that fuel subsidy coming back is good?
I'm not saying it's good. It's a bad thing for both sides.
Okay.
Both for the consumers and the people doing it. But there may be we are in an emergency situation, hoping to get through it. We hope that Port Harcourt refinery hopefully to come on board by December. Well, refinery may also come on board. It's Kaduna refinery that will take a longer time, very much longer time.
Why, sir?
Because the pipeline taking crude oil from Warri down to Kaduna has been compromised too much. So that will take a longer time to do. So from January, if the Warri refinery and the Port Harcourt refinery are able to come on stream and can produce up to 80% capacity utilization in January, then the situation will ease. But before then, do we leave the country to burn? We must do something to get going. So that's why the quiet subsidy is on, to keep the pieces together until we tide it over it. I'm not a government, but I'm just using my reasoning to see that. I don't speak with government people. I'm not close to it, but I'm using my reasoning because this is what a rational person should do. This is what I will do. Why finding a way to tackle the work. But then, we must still punish some people. There must be consequences for those who are brought up to this level.
Who are you referring to? From the days of SAP or currently?
As long way back as we can. As long way back as we can. We will not get to all of them, but if we can hold even 10 to 50% accountable, that would be very good. That would be plausible. That we will like it. It will send a message.
All right, so we're going to we'll do for a break, but when we come back, we'll talk about the fact that you said fuel subsidy coming back is just putting the pieces together. I'd like to know how. Let's go on this quick break, and when we return, we'll continue this conversation with Sleek Oshare, oil and gas expert. I will see you next time.
When you get crude, you want to refine crude, you need to dewater it. Because there's what it comes with water. You have to pass it through a system where you take the water away. And that water you take away is contaminated water. You can't just pump that water into the stream, into the environment. It destroys the people. So you need to treat that water again. Let anybody challenge. Go to even the petrol stations. Go to the petrol, let them open their tank. Down below the tank, there's some water also there.
Oh,
you also need to different out of it. So it's not just simple to, we have this thing, just license those boys. Oh, well, have you seen them? Do you know what it takes? Will you put that in your car or in your gen?
Oh, wow.
Come on.
If you just joined us, this is The Conversation. We're reaching you from Kaftan's television studio here in the nation's capital, Abuja. If you actually just joined us, you've missed out on the first part of the show, but then you can still join us and the second leg as we've been discussing fuel subsidy. Is it back or not, and why, if it is actually back, since it was not budgeted for? And my guest on the show today is Sleek Oshare, who is an oil and gas expert. All right, I said we're going to kickstart from the part that you said that to put the pieces together, we have to return back fuel subsidy. Why? If you said fuel subsidy is gone, so why do we have to bring it back again, whether silently or publicly?
Because the Naira is collapsing daily.
Even with the harmonization of the Naira?
Has it really been harmonized? The Naira today, I hate reading in papers, but the Naira today is about 1,000 Naira 40 kobo to the dollar. And we are still importing fuel. So what do? So the price of fuel, importation is going up. You haven't started producing locally yet. And of course, if you started producing locally, I think that will not necessarily assure that the price will come down. First, forget about Dangote Refinery.
I was even going to talk about it. But
Dangote Refinery has made its own statement clear that it's going to sell at international price. He has made it clear. I suspected that long ago. I think I must have mentioned in one of our discussions before. He was not going to sell it. First, it's operating in what they call it, export-free zone. That's what it is. So it's an international zone he's operating in. That area is export-free zone. An export-free zone is an international zone. He's buying crude oil in dollar because it's also importing. So he said he's going to produce and sell in dollars at international market price. So that's not
producing locally.
That one, let's not look at that as a refuge that will rescue us. No. It is the Nigerian oil refineries that will rescue us. But you have to do something to the Naira first.
Was it that they never saw this coming before we had that announcement of fuel subsidy is gone?
Fuel subsidy is gone because the budget said it was gone. That's what I said now. The budget said no fuel subsidy from June 1st. And this new president was taken over on May 29, 2 days to the day. In fact, it has been announced the day the budget was presented by President Buhari, and that from June 1st, no fuel subsidy.
So that announcement kick-started immediately.
Yes, because that's who we are. We're mischievous people. Today, let the president come out and announce today that a liter of petrol is 300 Naira. Let it just announce. Will the drop kickstart immediately? It will take another 2-3 months for the petrol station, for the marketers to come to that 300 Naira. Because first of all, he announces that it's 300 Naira most of the time. When you go there, they say we are selling old stock. We are mischievous people. They say no, we still have old stock. we still have stock. But if you increase the price before the word comes from its mouth,
they
won't remember that they have stock. We are mischievous people with a total disequilibrium in whatever we do. Taking advantage, exploiting situation, extorting people. That's who we are.
Even extorting ourselves.
And we extort ourselves. That's who we are. It's the issue of mentality. I remember I've said it before. We need to reboot this nation. And to reboot, we need a mental revolution. We need a new reorientation. I've said this over and over again before. A new reorientation where what is bad is bad.
I should be punished.
Yes. Where if I do something wrong, my son should be there and say, Dad, you don't do that. Things are not done that way. We need a new orientation. And the new orientation, we all have to be a part of it. The mosque, the churches, the shrines, the motor parks,
the traditional leaders.
We have to. So that a pastor doesn't have to take a tithe from somebody who has looted the treasury. The pastor needs to question it. You need to question it. You don't have to pay tithe from the loot of treasury. When Zacchaeus found Christ and he decided to follow Christ, what did he do? He went back to return the money he collected from people. He started to return the money to them. For inviting Christ to have a dinner with him. So the orientation needs to change. A mental revolution. What is bad is bad. There must be ethics. There must be ethics. Your salary is 300,000 naira a month. You have 4 children in private university. Afe Babalola or some other university. Sorry, sir. I didn't want to. I just give an example. What's your salary? 300,000 naira a month. Or you have children in Leeds University, UK, anywhere, from that 300,000. How? We need to get things right. There must be mental orientation where everybody will check each other and say, no, we don't need to do this thing. Because one bad behavior, it goes on to affect another one, That's why they say, what goes around, comes around. It bounces back at you. You stole money for medical, for hospital, to build a new hospital. You stole the money to do some other thing. A few weeks later, your child falls ill. He needs that hospital again. And cannot be treated. What goes around, comes around. So we need a mental revolution. We need to reboot. We need to check the currency. We need to check the currency. And then go back to the industry and go into manufacture.
All right, because we talked about Dangote now, let's go back to Dangote's refinery. There's a report from the media that categorically states that Dangote refinery is importing crude and would begin refining between October and November, as NNPCL has refused to supply them crude oil to start. But yet then you have NNPCL, who owns a 20% stake in the Dangote refinery, says it will start supplying the facility crude in November. And someone says, isn't this a national embarrassment? What's the way forward here?
I won't say it's a national embarrassment in the sense that the details may not have come out. How long ago did Dangote book for crude oil supply?
Does it matter?
It matters. Because oil says it's an agreement over a period.
Okay.
We have limited production, either within OPEC quota or within our own capability. Okay? And most times, our oil has been allocated 2 or 3 months in advance to international buyers. So every month we sit down, and if we have, as the last time I was in touch long ago, we have 20, at that time we had about 25 official buyers approved by government. Every month we will sit down and look at the capacity, total capacity, total quantity produced. We will now allocate that quantity to the 25 buyers before we enter the new month.
Okay.
So every buyer knows how much he's going to get for the new month. And if you're not going to be able to meet up with that, or maybe due to accident, pipeline rupture, or anything like that, you declare force majeure, telling to say, please, we have the problem, we cannot meet with that, so that they don't have international legal suit against you. You share it. And some of the buyers that may not get for that month, we give them priority for the following month.
Oh, okay.
That's what we do. And at our peak, when we have 2.4 million barrels a day, we have to work it to 2.4 million barrels a day over the period. How much we give this one? 10 million barrels, this one 10 million barrels, this one 4 million barrels. So we are allocating that. Did Dangote apply for that at that period? You cannot, those who you have allocated to, who have applied, who are already there, you cannot shortchange them and not divert it because this one is so. No, you cannot do that. Did Dangote do that? The people in charge of that. So NNPC cannot say refuse. Why would they refuse? They want to sell if it's available. And production dropped. I think the production is not up to 2 million barrels a day. Production, I think the last time I heard, they said it was dropping from 1.5 million barrels a day and things like that. So these are some of the things involved. So the details may be deeper than what the headlines say.
Okay.
And like what you read now, I said, they say from November, they will give to them November. You see, this is September ending. That's what I'm telling you. The allocation and the time you apply for, they have to do the allocation. That is when the soil allocation will be due. So it's not a question of refusing. There are a lot of technicalities in some of this.
All right. So because I also hear you talk about
I'm sorry to say again.
Okay.
Dangote has refineries, if it's full operation, it's said to be about 600,000 barrels a day. Nigeria cannot even supply the total quantity of 600,000 barrels a day. So go ahead.
All right. So because you talked about we bringing up our own refinery, and then you said not the Dangote refinery because it's still operating in the international market price. So how about other modular refineries? I saw a particular media presentation where you have some small boys going to do stuffs in the creek, and they say now, and today they say now we they do the oil, now we they subsidize for others. Are they our problems, or they should be licensed?
Those are the things that licensed for what, on what standards? People who shout and the place. You see, I told us we are very mischievous people, including me. All of us were mischievous people. Can any Nigerian, anybody, let's say, go to those boys and take what those boys put and put in their car? Can't say the quantity. Can't say the quality. And what do? They don't even do petrol because they don't have the capability to produce petrol. The highest they go for is diesel.
Carol.
It's diesel.
Oh. But I saw one who said he was, out of what he was doing, he will have Carol, he has diesel, he has petrol.
You see, it's what we call a fractionalization of the crude oil. At every degree, the crude oil is a heavy thing. For you to get into products, you must heat it to about 3,000 degrees centigrade. Beyond normal boiling point of water. Water boils at 100 degrees centigrade. Crude cannot boil. Even diesel cannot boil at 100 degrees centigrade. You have to heat it to about 1,000 or more than 1,000 degrees centigrade. When it boils, the lighter ends, what they call the lighter ends, have to heat so much that the lighter ends like gas, which we call liquefied petroleum gas. Liquefied petroleum gas. You know, when it boils so hot that it's boiled so much, like when you boil water, the steam coming up. When it's boiling, you can see the steam coming. The lighter end, the gas, liquefied petroleum gas, will come out first. Then the next level that will come will be the petrol. I know petrol is lighter than kerosene.
Yes, it is.
So at different columns, and all of them have different temperature. Until come to the petrol, until come to aviation, kerosene, and kerosene, domestic kerosene and aviation kerosene,
fuel.
and then they come to AGO. the gas, the diesel we are talking about, which is heavier. And then you go down to bitumen and other thing. And at every level, for which product comes out, you don't leave that product and bring it raw like that and sell to the market.
Okay.
You still have to put other chemicals to standardize it. If you even bring the raw fuel out from the distilling point and put it in your car, it will knock your engine. You still have to put what they call anti-knock. You still have to put anti-knock in that petrol for it to be, for the engine to be, for the motor to be able to, the engine to run. Otherwise, it will knock your engine. In those days, you may have heard of five-star, regular, 5-star petrol, regular petrol, premium petrol, until we start to standardize them. The regular one, that one, if you don't take time, some car engines could not take it because it has different level of anti-knock.
Okay.
So they have to standardize them. Those boys with those drums, they can't hit it to that level.
Ah.
They can't hit to that level. That's one. And when they
even when the fire looks like it's the
how many degrees?
Oh.
Don't you see that drums busting every now and then? And then the diesel you bring out, the diesel they bring it out. Keep the diesel. I've used it on my gem. Then I was in the village where I supplied my gem. What they call silent proof, big Juma, whatever they call that gem. Soundproof. They bring it. After I found the thing, the drum, which they brought the diesel, that kind of problem. I see, thick. This is click diesel.
So you know that thick ones.
I know thick one. You see, congeal. Let it. What they do is they bring this one. The marketers take the regular engine oil and blend with it.
Oh. We are
for them to be able to sell. The marketers have to blend with it. Leave that put it in a container. Keep it for 1 week. You contain back to crude.
Ooh.
Then it's okay. You license those ones. That's one. License them. Where did they get the crude?
I heard one saying that after all, the big people are the ones stealing it with their large badge, but we are just taking the bottle. So taking small ones.
And you license that one. So you license somebody to be stealing your crude to do.
Stealing bottles.
Is that what you want to license? So when people license bottle that illegal license this. If it's illegal, you know it's illegal. If you want to license it, you license. Put your facilities. Let's say the facility can produce standard thing that is good for the market. Then you must buy it. You must buy the crude. Should it be free for them to go and steal from anywhere? There are so many things, but we are so mischievous. If we have all this illegal thing, let them go and see where it's done. All those communities that even host them, in future they will suffer because they have degraded the environment thoroughly.
Oh wow!
They have degraded the environment thoroughly. Don't you see the snapshots of them when you see them on television? The environment degraded thoroughly.
And I heard they have to do it at night.
Yeah. Do they even dehydrate? Is it the crude itself? When you get crude, you want to refine crude. You need to dewater it. Because there's what it comes with water. You have to pass it through a system where you take the water away. And that water you take away is contaminated water. You can't just pump that water into the stream, into the environment. It destroys the people. So you need to treat that water again.
Oh wow, that's a long process.
That water itself needs to be treated for it to be put into the environment. Can those guys do that?
So those what are the reasons why you have they always complain in the Niger Delta area that there are fishes.
That's what they done. The road where those boys are doing anyhow that is destroying everything. You can't just put you dewater the crude. Take enough water out of it. Because crude doesn't move alone. And I bet you for you, let anybody challenge. Go to even the petrol stations. Go to the petrol, let them open their tank. Down below the tank, there's some water also there.
Oh,
you also need to different out of it. So it's not just simple to, we have this thing, just license those boys, oh, well, have you seen them? Do you know what it takes? Will you put that in your car or in your gym?
Oh wow!
Come on!
I recall that maybe I'm sure that's the reason why former governor of Rivers State, that's Listen Wike, brought most of them down.
Many of them that we know them. I'm from Niger Delta, and I from Niger Delta. I train and I served 35 years in the oil industry and trained in refining, trained in exploration, trained in export, trained in production. So I know what I'm talking about. I'm trained not just in Nigeria alone. So I know what I'm talking about. So it's not as simple. The refineries that have been approved, there was a time 18 companies were approved to build refineries. They couldn't. They started asking for crude oil allocation for 2 years. Let them sell and make money to do that. There's Orient Petroleum in Anambra, which is going to a refinery, with Emeka Anyoko as the chairman of the board.
Yes, I think I've
I
seen
think
that.
they should be ready to do. You see the process it takes. And the so-called modular refinery are talking, the young small one that can maybe produce about 10,000 barrels a day. That's what they call them modular, very small thing. A few of them are coming up now. A few of them are coming up.
And that's a good thing, yeah?
Yeah, it's a good thing. Government has licensed them, but I hope they will be honest enough to continue. Because Nigeria always want quick profit. In big businesses, profit doesn't come immediately. But we Nigerians like quick profit.
Oh, okay. We've actually exhausted our time, but the conversation is quite interesting. Now, let's take our social media question. Someone sent a question from social media and says, President Tinubu should shrink NNPC into a holding company and an investment subsidiary while privatizing all its midstream and downstream assets and restrict the government to industry regulator. Do you subscribe to this?
Well, I won't be able to answer that fully in the sense that I don't know the extent to which it does. But I have always been an advocate that all the NNPC subsidiaries should be autonomous. I've always believed that. Instead of being a central, one big brother NNPC there supervising executive, no.
So
NNPC should be a holding company. And the subsidiaries should be independent, autonomous companies taking full decisions on their own and rendering account annually of their performances. I've always been an advocate of that. That being privatized, I'm scared of government companies being privatized. Reason is that we privatized Nigeria Airways. What happened? We privatized Nigeria Airways. You will see some planes flying in year 2000. I don't want to mention the name of the person. The whole Nigeria know who bought it to. After a while, they said they needed support to support the local the man who bought it with 300 million naira or something. What happened? He diverted the money to property, to estate business. What happened to Nigeria Airways? Even when they tried to bring Virgin Atlantic, we now had Virgin Nigeria at the time.
I recall.
Go and listen to what Richard Blanksy said of Nigerian and the Nigerian entrepreneur. Said it was one of the saddest, biggest mistakes I've made in business since we went into airline. We privatize Nigerian steel industry, DSC, Oya Alada, which I can point out. The people they sold it to, the Indians or whatever they sold it to, when they got there, there were some raw materials still available which were not being used. They used those present raw materials to produce tea, sold. The profit, the money realized from that were paid into their foreign accounts, never here in Nigeria. Stripped the whole place, and when everything was gone, they said it wasn't worth it. Meanwhile, they didn't pay a cover to buy the place. And they wanted Nigerian banks to find a purchase. We have had Nigerian shipping line. What happened after privatization? Maybe the only company that we can say that was privatized that is still manufacturers, NAFCON, National Fertilizer something company, NAFCON. The Nigeria LNG is functioning because it's in partnership. And I think they have allowed the other partners to do the running. So I'm scared of privatization. And when you must privatize, You must privatize to those who have the capability to run. If you are going to privatize the Nigerian refineries, the Nigerian refinery, don't give domestic entrepreneurs.
Oh, it has to be
foreign. Who mean business. People who mean business. You give it to Nigeria, they'll go there, they strip the place of all the useful part of it, abandon it, they say no money.
But not everyone is bad, though.
This is our mentality. This is our mentality. Show me a Nigerian company run by a Nigerian that is doing so well. Even the private ones, once the first owner dies, once the real owner dies, the children can't even carry on.
Now, because you're talking about Nigerian entrepreneurs, I hear someone say that, I think, is it not the same frustration that you always have that happens to small business or multinational companies that has made a lot of them leave, like gas, GSK and all, that same frustration, that's what the person said, that's what they are trying to bring into Dangote refinery and trying to frustrate him. Do you agree?
Who frustrates Dangote? Dangote is a refinery. It's a refinery that a year before it goes into operation has repaid 70% of the loans. Is that not a mystery till now? We are there. When they went for the commissioning, Emefiele said it clearly that they are happy to associate with Dangote refinery that has repaid 70% of the loans it took. A company that was still under construction. Who is going to frustrate Dangote?
Even though at some point we read that some of the loans have not been paid. Don't you think politics has
you brought frustration that they get to frustrate Dangote company. Was it the frustration that made the price of cement went up astronomically? Was it the frustration? Who frustrated who now? Who is frustrating who?
All right, our time is fast spent, but before we let you go, there's been this rat chase between the dollar and the fuel. Who will first get to 1,000? Finally, dollar has gotten to 1,000 before the fuel.
40 kobo.
So now that here oil market are saying that fuel might get to 900 and so, do you see that
1,000. It should have been up to 1,000 by this weekend.
Wow.
I don't know how we are going to do it.
But somehow maybe Nigerians will survive, I guess.
Like I said, we need to reboot. We need to take drastic measures, which will be painful, but we need to take drastic measures. People need to be held accountable for their action. There must be consequences. Some people brought us to this level. Some people are still keeping us at this level. There should be consequences.
When you say drastic measures, is it from I'm sure you're referring, they should trickle down from the head to the bottom, not the head telling Nigerians, you all need to persevere.
They know who is causing what. They know who is holding what. They know who is taking the thing away. They know who is killing it. If it is, let them check my bank account. If there's illegal money going there, if my children are going to schools that are not deserving, that are not what of the income I have, they know who is doing. They know who is doing what to get what it happened. They know who is doing what in the central bank. They know who is doing what in the Bureau exchange. They know who is doing what in the protection of petroleum products. They know who is what. They know the people.
All right.
They know the people. That's where the consequences may come out. And let's warn ourselves, Nigeria. When they grab me, my people should not say, "Don't touch an Uruguay." Or my church should not say, "Hey, don't touch me. We are touching Sleek because it's going to our church."
Christian.
We should stop that. Because the consequences of my action is affecting my church, affecting my tribe, affecting my brothers and sisters.
And you must pay.
So my brothers and sisters and my tribe and my church should not come and defend me when I'm being held accountable. We must let that one be clear.
All right.
If it's not clear, we can't move.
Thank you so much.
The churches, the mosques, the tribes, and everywhere, the old school men should stop defending the erring members.
Thank you so much, Sleek Oshare. It's been a wonderful time. It's always a pleasure having this discussion.
Thank you.
We could actually go on and on, but thank you so much. That's a very fine place to leave the conversation. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been a wonderful time here on The Conversation. I'm sure you must have been rightly educated, entertained, and informed. That's a very good place to anchor. Regardless of anyone that errs must be punished, and it doesn't have to be you covering up and saying it's my church member or it's my Muslim brother or he's my tribe's member. If you err, you should be punished. I'll see you next time. My name is Annabel Orji. God bless you and yours, and God bless Nigeria.